This special episode of Born to Watch is filmed in front of a live studio audience. Welcome to Born to Watch, where three old mates, an ex-video shop owner, an industry insider, and a black belt in 80s kung fu movies put their mastery to the test on movies that changed the world.
Hey there, fellow watchers. It's that time of the week again, and this time we are on tour and on the land. What a special episode this is. It's New Year's Eve. I know it's not when this is released, but it's a great day. Up there at Dan's Ranch. How are you, mate?
Big week on the land, boys. First of all, thanks for all coming up. Very happy to introduce a special guest in a moment. But there's been a bit going on up here on the land. So a few weeks now, visitors coming into the ranch, which has been great. And I think everyone's had a good time. Lots of kids eating shit on dirt bikes. I know Gal's son has had a couple of good offs. Those trees do tend to jump in front of you every now and again, so that's been amusing. Plenty of piss consumed, and a special shout out to Gage Roads Breweries. So thank you. Keep the sponsors product rolling in. But had one amusing story yesterday when we went down to the pool shop and had to get a few chems for the pool because it was looking a little cloudy. And rolled up to old mate with our bottle full of pool water and said, mate, you mind checking this out? And he comes back and he says, it's pretty good. Your salt's a bit high and got a bit of phosphate issue. Yeah, you got a lot of green matter going into your pool, a lot of trees, a lot of leaves, a lot of stuff. And I went, actually, mate, I've cleared up the land around the pool. We don't actually get leaves in there. And he goes, you had a lot of kids swimming in your pool? I said, yep. He said, well, that's piss. I said, right, okay. So, yeah, shout out to all the children of friends of the ranch that have come up. But, no, very successful period over here, so very enjoyable to have everyone up.
Thanks for having us, Dan. Of course, it wouldn't be Born to Watch without my number two, the G-Man. How are you?
Oh, and I'm back for another episode. I thought you guys were pretty harsh last week. I had the re-listen and I think I hit those notes pretty well. You guys are just trying to clip my wings, I think.
Your broken wings?
Broken wings. But yeah, great to be up here on the land, having a great time. Weather's now playing ball with us. So as Morg said, kids are having a ball up here, all out and about. And yeah, we're looking forward to a good episode and a special guest.
Yeah, we do have a special guest with us today. He's flown in from Sydney, an old mate.
Southern Gronk.
He's a Southern Gronk. I'll tell you what though, with the hat on, he's looking a lot like Rip from Yellowstone. And the women up here, they're all hot for a bit of Rip. So you might go all right. Problem is, they're all our wives.
You never know. A couple of dark and stormies later, and I don't think anyone's going to care.
We know what he's up for, and mate, I'd be avoiding it. Mate, Jeffrey G. Bumfiler.
Gentlemen.
It's an amazing pleasure to have you with us.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I know the people were expecting Sonny Payne.
Yes.
However, Sonny couldn't make it, and I'm happy to step in. And what an absolute pleasure it is to be here. Absolutely thrilling and stunning view here, Morgs, on the land. I've got to say, mate, the picture that you painted for me didn't quite capture what the actual reality of the beauty is.
I know a lot of that credit goes to our friend M. Head, a good friend of the podcast. But yeah, he's a lot of people tended to doubt the skill of the man, but I think it's proven in the pudding. He didn't have a lot to do with the view, I must say, but everything else so far fastens and closes how it should. So all great. But mate, yeah, definitely a like-for-like swap. I think you for Sonny Payne. I couldn't think of two more alike humans. So I think we've done well, Jeffrey.
Well, Sonny was certainly the better footballer. Let's. I think we can all agree on that.
More naturally gifted.
Did you have a little time at hooker? Was there? Did you?
A lot of time.
Yeah. Well, there we go. So you two would have been fighting, I guess, for positions there for a while.
Yeah, he got paid for a lot. He got paid for a lot of positions.
Anyway, moving on. Let's.
With 2022 in the rear view, we're starting 2023 with an absolute bang. 1987's Predator was a rite of passage for all of us in our teenage years. And Arnie was well on his way to becoming the biggest star on the planet, and Predator all but sealed the deal. Now, this movie spawned a whole Predator universe, along with 4 direct sequels and 2 mashups with the Alien vs. Predator movies. Now, before we get into anything else, have either of you people here seen Prey, new Predator.
I still have it. You gave me the heads up a couple of weeks ago to check it out, and it's just been too busy on the land. So
Yeah,
no,
same.
That'll be a
haven't.
no for Gow.
No, yet, but I do want to watch it. I have plans to.
Yeah, it's really, really good, and it's well worth a watch. Sequels 2, 3, and 4, so-so.
2, I don't know if we'll get into it later on, but 2 I remember as being all right. I haven't seen it for some time.
It's
Obviously, a big change up from the original movie, which was a shame. Danny Glover, a favourite of the podcast, featured really heavily.
Billy Paxton.
Billy Paxton in there, always another favourite of the pod, probably featuring in a couple of upcoming movies. But yeah, I do remember that reasonably fondly, but I think the wheels may have fallen off after that. And word on the street is Prey brought it right back.
Yeah, Prey's very good, goes right back. But anyway, can
Mate,
we?
can I also set the tone perhaps for my input in the pod today, because I didn't even know there was a movie called Prey. So
What we do here, guys, is we fly the experts in.
that's right.
We fly them in, and he comes with a wealth of knowledge.
So I'd
None
just
of
like to
that
set the
about the
bar
movie
there.
Predator. Yeah.
I just like to set the bar there. Like,
Let's pause there. What if you were to sub in to do a movie? What would have been your top 5 or top 3 that you would have liked to have riffed on?
Can I have a crack?
Yeah. Sorry, you go, Whitey. What do you reckon?
I'm going to throw Dirty Harry out.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Great
Yes.
flick.
One of your favourite composers, Lalo,
Lalo Schifrin. Yes.
Of
The Dirty Harry
course.
hi-hat.
King of the hi-hat.
That's right.
Yeah.
I would also put Heat out there.
Oh,
Okay, good.
Excellent.
Good.
Have we done that yet?
No, we haven't done that.
Oh,
It
that'll
will be done.
coming up. Excellent choice, Jeffrey.
Yeah. Third, I probably couldn't go past Caddyshack, to be honest with you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We
Gow's-
haven't done that yet either.
Gow's been
That's in
asking for
Gow's,
Caddyshack
yeah.
for weeks.
Yeah.
It almost came into the roster a few weeks ago, so it won't be long.
Yeah, no, it won't
Telling
be
you, it
far,
won't be
It
long.
won't be far. It won't be far.
And are these yearly watches or monthly watches, or what are we talking?
Well, I was talking to you guys before. I mean, your depth of knowledge in films is striking. Like I said to you, I think I've watched Caddyshack probably 1,000 times, and everything else has fallen into submission. I didn't actually know there were other movies out there.
That's the Damo Giles.
So
method.
when I
It
was
is the
there
Damo
you
Giles
go,
method.
there you go. So a high rotation, Caddyshack, Fletch, and Flying High as a youngster.
Oh, no, good
probably
choices,
probably
though.
probably does say a lot about me.
And who introduced you to those flicks? Was it on rotation at home or just something you picked up yourself?
My brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Older brother?
Yeah, older brother. Definitely he was the one that, sort of I would just sort of follow him and again, I'm probably thinking back to, when I'm really watching these movies, it was mostly on TV.
Yeah.
Like before we had a,
Absolutely. Flying High
VCR.
especially.
that was probably more of a VHS hire, but no, definitely Dirty Harry. It just seemed to be on every Friday
It
night.
did. Or Every Which Way But Loose. That was on
Oh
every other
yeah,
Friday
exactly
night.
right. Some sort of
was,
Clint Eastwood movie.
Right turn,
right?
Clyde.
Yeah, exactly. So
Wasn't that the one that always came on after the Channel 9 cricket got washed off? There was always like Every Which Way But Loose or something came on. One of the stock go-tos.
Yeah. So
Gary Packer just comes down the phone, chuck on the fucking Clint Eastwood.
Chuck on the monkey movie.
Yeah, fucking off.
All right. So, guys, now we're thinking about when we first saw Predator, released in '87. Morgs, first viewing of Predator.
Oh, no fucking idea. You ask me this can we
I
just
know.
cut me out of this segment altogether? I never know.
I love it. Yeah.
We're going to have to cut me out of it too.
Okay. Again,
As usual.
Predator '87. It's probably, and the movie that it was, I didn't see this at the cinema. It was probably, even though realistically it is well below Fatal Attraction for what a young man should be seeing in
87. So you're 12 years
12.
old?
I'm 12.
years
And I
old,
saw Fatal Attraction '87 at the cinema on my own, as we all know. It's a well-known story here on the podcast.
Docs have been notified.
Yeah, thank you, Colin. Predator was not seen at the cinema. Predator was one of the first movies pirated into the white VHS library.
So it had a red P.
Had a red P.
and then Redditor in black.
Yes.
Yeah, that was your nomenclature.
That was it.
Yeah.
So that was first. Aliens was the first one. We'll get to that.
But last week we talked about Lethal Weapon being the
That's
same
one of-
year,
it's one of
but
the
not
ones-
seeing it for a few years.
Yeah.
But you saw Predator.
I saw
not long
Predator.
after.
I saw Predator before I saw Lethal Weapon.
Okay.
I remember that because I saw Predator around the same time I saw Aliens. So I remember that I was down the street at some friends that lived down the road.
Was it a Yoda Club meeting?
It was not a Yoda. The Yoda Club had adjourned by then.
disbanded.
It had disbanded. There was no more dry dog shit eaten by any humans.
So docs have been notified about that as well. So
that was
they've got a backlog. It's taken them 30 years to get to you.
Yeah, it's well past the period of time they can charge, I believe.
Well, I don't know when I saw this, but I got a sneaking suspicion it was on your DVD player or your VHS player, I should say.
I think it probably was.
It had
probably
to have been.
When I got the first generation Philips surround sound. Yeah. This is a good one because it's an 87 movie, so it's 35 years old, I think, if my addition is correct.
Yeah.
I'm going over and under 50.
Jesus. Let's start with Jeffrey J. Bumfiler.
Jeffrey.
Okay, well, I can go. I can go back. I actually did see this at the cinema.
There you go.
Wow.
So, I guess
In 87.
Yeah.
Goodness.
I did actually see some pretty random movies in the cinema back then.
Emmanuel.
No, but
Caligula.
no, but I do remember seeing it. I do remember going, and I'm pretty sure it was down at Ringham Mall.
Yeah, Ringham Mall Twin.
Twin. What it would
That
have
was
been at the
Whitey's Hall.
time.
Yep.
And it was just around that time that sort of Arnie was really starting to pop.
Yeah.
So
Do you remember who you went with?
I do.
Was it a lady?
No.
No, it wasn't dating back in
He was a good St. Augustine's boy back then.
God, not even going to the movies with. No, let's cut that.
Yeah, we probably won't. But continue.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was a. I'm pretty sure it was a group of the guys that we was in our rugby team at the time. We just sort of went there. Maybe it was a little bit, one school holidays or something along those lines. Yeah.
And how many times have you seen it since?
Oh,
then?
sorry. Of course. God, it's not a massive rewatch. I reckon I've probably seen it probably 4 times tops.
Wow, it's a demo, Joel.
It's a demo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Welcome back.
It was, sorry, that you mentioned before, so you've seen about 3 or 4 movies 1,000 times, but the others 4 would be a lot of viewings.
Yeah, that's right, man.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's a couple of movies that are just in that really high rotation, but not I can seriously just put Heat on
The Heat's awesome, and they're comfort movies, I guess.
Well,
that you
action
have in the background.
Action has always been your juice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, it is.
But what about you, Dan?
No idea when I saw it.
We've already done that.
Would have
What
been
about
on
over-unders?
would have been on video. Big week on the land. What are we up to? No, over. It's a 50. I don't think I've seen it 50 times.
Okay.
That'd be under 50.
Yeah, right.
for me.
Okay.
I'm definitely under 50, but I'm saying 20 to 30 times. It's somewhere. I've seen it a lot, but 50, not 50 for sure.
I'm over 50.
Yeah.
I reckon, I'm at least once a year. That's 37. I'm going to say I'll be between 50 and 60 times. I reckon I've seen this movie.
Okay.
I've watched it once already this year and then watched it again for the podcast. So, okay. It's time for the trailer. Strap yourselves in as we introduce you to Dutch.
We are a rescue team, not assassins. Now, what do we gotta do?
In a part of the world where there are no rules,
We pick up their trailer at the chopper, run them down, grab those hostages before anybody knows we were there. What do you mean we?
deep in the jungle, where nothing that lives is safe,
You lose it here, you're in a world of hurt. Showtime, kid. Knock, knock.
an elite rescue squad
You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
is being led by the ultimate warrior.
We need the best. That's why you're here.
But now,
What's got Billy so spooked?
there's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no man. They're up against the ultimate enemy.
Holy Mother of God.
Nothing like it has ever been on Earth before.
She says the jungle just came alive and took him.
We cannot see it,
No blood, no bodies. We hit nothing.
but it sees the heat of our bodies and the heat of our fear.
Whatever it is out there, it killed Hopper. And now it wants us.
It kills for pleasure.
He was skinned alive!
It hunts for sport.
He's killing us one at a time.
We're all gonna die. But this time, it's picked the wrong man to hunt.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
20th Century Fox presents Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predator. The hunt begins Friday, June 12th at theaters everywhere.
Showtime, kid. Knock, knock.
Well, Arnie, what a guy. Just another quality trailer. 80s just, they had me for trailers. They were the best. Yeah, Gow, why don't you tell us about the movie?
Okay, with the tagline, it came for the thrill of the hunt. It picked the wrong man to hunt. Arnold Schwarzenegger stars in this action-packed story of fighting men pitted against an unseen enemy, a force more powerful than their fiercest weapons. Recruited by the CIA to rescue hostages held by guerrilla fighters in a Central American country, Arnie and his men encounter an enemy unimaginably more deadly than any on Earth, because the Predator is not of this Earth. Packed with spectacular special effects and combat scenes of gut-wrenching power, Predator is the most terrifying Schwarzenegger movie yet.
It's pretty good.
That's not bad.
But you know what, though? Is it packed with a heap of special effects? Like, I think there's it's a lot of practical stuff. Like, apart from...
Fluoro blood.
Well, but, you know, there's the infrared stuff, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit later on, but I don't think there's a heap of special effects. It's all practical.
Not at all.
I think this is pure movie making, really.
I agree. I think it's definitely, obviously no CGI, but as far as even sleight of hand tricks that the directors like to pull, I remember a lot of sets that I've been on, unfortunately it feels like you're looking at a green screen the whole time, but I'm sure Gow's got a lot of info about how this film was shot and some of the challenges with making the film, and if he doesn't, he can throw to me just with a wink or whatever he needs. But no, I definitely shot on. Yeah, okay, sorry, I got to shut the fuck up. A lot of this obviously shot on location in Mexico. So no, I would totally agree, Whitey. I think there's some really clever post production effects. So, but mostly it looks like it was done in the jungle and with in real life shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
What were the effects of the actual Predator when it was sort of camouflaged against?
Yeah, that's probably
the special effects. I guess it's the chameleon.
When he blends into the jungle and he's like a watermark sort of looking thing, and he's got the green eyes. The girl with green eyes.
He's got that fuzzy sort of look, right?
It's first generation stuff, right?
That's it.
You know,
but it doesn't look hokey. Like it doesn't look B movie-ish. There's a few scenes in there that I'd like to point out later that maybe do look a bit like American Ninja, but nothing wrong with American Ninja. Shout out to Michael Dudikoff.
And Gow.
But I'd agree, Wardy. Overall, I think you'd say that this was a lot of stunts and pretty cool done actually in front of the camera effects.
Definitely. All right, so this is an interesting one that in the ratings. IMDb have got this 7.8 out of 10. Okay, 80% on the tomato meter, which is fresh, certified fresh. We love Rotten Tomatoes; they're the best, and an 87% audience score. So, you know, it's between that 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, which is, you know, it's a pretty high watermark for an action movie, isn't it, Gow?
Yeah, it is. But this movie, well, let's not give too much away. It is a very, very good action movie, and I know it's a favourite of a lot of people here.
Yeah. All right. So, Gow, why don't we talk about the cast?
Well, let's go. This is definitely an Arnie vehicle, and we've talked about Arnie in depth previously, but this was sort of, I guess, right when he was, hitting his straps, we'll say, or right in the middle of his good period. I mean, he started in Conan. He'd been in obviously in movies before that. He was in Pumping Iron when he was coming out of his bodybuilding years, but Conan the Barbarian into Conan the Destroyer, and then Terminator, Red Sonja, Raw Deal.
I can't do my bit about Pumping Iron if you're going to continue just ringing off.
Sorry.
I've got to say, when I'm pumping the iron, it feels like I'm calming.
Well, he was coming out of it.
I'm calming. That's a great. If you haven't seen that, Lou Ferrigno, that is mental disintegration a la the great Australian cricket teams of the late 90s and 90s. Steve Waugh, yeah. Arnie just gets inside Lou Ferrigno's head and turns him into like a babbling toddler that just happens to be 290 pounds of pure muscle.
I still don't think he's recovered from it.
No.
I think he went deaf.
He did. He lost. He did lose an ear hole. But he went on to obviously great acclaim as the original TV Hulk. Did you guys watch that?
Yes.
I did,
Yeah, that was my favourite as a kid.
What
One of my
day was it
favourites.
on? I can't remember.
Was it Mondays, I think?
Monday, yeah.
It was Monday nights.
Jesus, you're a weapon.
Yeah.
Monday night's a great night for football, and the Hulk as well.
Dr. Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Belted by gamma
banners.
rays turns into the Hulk. That was the cartoon.
That was the guy. The ever something Hulk.
Hulk. Yeah, that was the cartoon. But look, did you know that Arnie was considered for that role of the Incredible Hulk?
Really?
Yeah, but he was not tall enough, they thought. Because Lou Ferrigno's a fair
He's a
bit tall.
giant- he's a
Arnie's
giant,
not that tall.
Arnie's 6'1",
Yeah.
maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a couple of those guys are pretty big. So he was deemed not... Yeah, so it went to Lou Ferrigno, who got the part.
He was no
over him.
Franco Columbo, but, he's
No.
definitely no Undertaker.
But yeah, look, going back to that run he had, Conan obviously brought him into mainstream, but then Terminator, Raw Deal, Predator, The Running Man in 87, Red Heat,
Massive run.
Gagainum,
Viktor Rostovich.
Twins, Total Recall, and then obviously the Terminator movies.
So we love Total Recall. What Jeffrey, is that on your rotation? You remember?
I remember seeing it at Ringham Mall.
At Ringham Mall again. I liked it. You're a sneaky Ringham Mall.
it
And I
was
like the
always
fact
a-
that your brain is still capable of conjuring up these viewings at Ringham Mall.
Well, exactly right. Look, I mean, it was a bit of a, I guess, at that age, it was one of those things you probably did on a Saturday night or
Yeah,
Friday night if you
for
could,
sure.
if you could get away.
Well, Total Recall's 1990, so like you're right in,
Where are
you were
St. Augustine's, 1990?
you might have, that was probably your last year there, and then
Yeah, you're right.
you were a bit of a machine
Was
back in the day, and so I'm just interested to see what's your cinema snack?
Oh, good question.
What's your go-to
What's your
cinema
go-to?
snack?
medium popcorn, medium Coke, and a choc top.
Yeah, it's a
Nice.
good.
Nice.
What do you reckon that set you back at Ringham Mall back in 1990?
$5.50.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because they did
now,
package deals back then,
$50.
didn't they?
Yes.
They did away with them. They realised they could just absolutely ream you by not packaging shit. Shout out to you, Roy Mustaka. But yeah, right.
Well, the go used to be, and I remember when I would get sent down there with my brother on a on a school holiday jaunt by mum or something similar, we would always raid Woolies beforehand. That was always the go. Right?
Yeah,
So
I
we'd sort of raid Woolies a little bit beforehand, and
because they didn't really they didn't frown upon it too much. Like you could actually rip in there and grab it. So
just a couple of things, but it was mostly maybe that was just my brother. Maybe it was my iteration later on was to introduce the that trifecta.
I think
Or that trio.
I think it's a very common trifecta. Yeah, I remember on our travels. We were blown away when we went to Canada and went and saw movies, and you could actually go and buy a beer and a pizza
Yeah,
and
that's
all
right.
sorts
People
of
having
things.
beers
So
in the
Progressive.
cinema.
that was
Yeah,
when was
very
that? That was
progressive.
like 97,
when did
98?
you
Mate,
guys?
there's quite a few years we were travelling,
it's
mate.
funny you should ask that, Greg.
when did
yeah.
you guys travel?
Actually, when we both finished our studies and we decided, what's a couple of best mates want to do? They
No
wanna
one cares about
travel
this.
the world together, and
No
so
one cares.
we ended up all over the globe. Like,
No one
essentially.
cares.
We had so many adventures.
No
so
one
many
cares.
two best mates getting into adventures.
Just a
Did you
couple of
ever-
mates.
Did you ever go to Canada?
Did we go to Canada? We cut a swathe through Canada. Yeah, I used to root hot birds exclusively in Canada. And great times. But I do remember seeing movies over there and being astounded by what you're able to consume in Canadian cinemas.
Well,
So
that's excellent. Well done. And I'm glad that we went on that little tangent. But bringing it back to Gow, tell us a little bit more about Arnie.
Well, look, I've got one interesting fact here for you about Arnie. For the Terminator, which is obviously his a breakout role for him, very big role. But
Big role.
James Cameron wanted him for the role of Kyle Reese in Terminator. But after reading the script, Arnie said, "No, let me play the part of the machine." And he was like, "No." Cameron's like, "No. Reese is the star of this. You got to. That's what I want you for." And he said, and the Terminator's hardly got any lines, but Arnie said, "Look, trust me, I know what I'm doing here." And the rest is history.
He said, I'll be back.
Yes, that was actually "I'll be coming back."
Yeah,
And
but,
he changed
he
it.
knew that he used coming in, pumping
He
iron.
already had, "I'll
And
be
he's only
coming
got
back."
he's only got so many words in his repertoire. He's like, let me expand out by cutting down and coming.
But just quickly, so his first role, Arnie, is this low budget movie called Hercules in New York in 1970. What do you reckon he got paid for that?
$60.
Close, but come on. What do you reckon?
250.
Did we talk about last week about Slice? Didn't he get like fuck all for his first script?
So, yeah, for his script, yeah.
He
But
had to
this
show
was
his doodle too.
Yeah, in the soft porn.
Yeah.
What
but
year
this
was it?
was no, this was 1970.
So he just come to California to
Yep.
make his.
California.
I think he was still competing. He was still competing.
Sorry.
No, he was still
What a fuckwit, mate.
Tell us, Gal.
right. He made $12,000 in 1970 for that movie. That's not bad.
That's good freight.
That
lot
sounds
of
like a
money.
fair bit of brass.
There's a lot of jobbing Australian actors that
Jesus
don't
Christ,
make
a
that
lot of money
in a
2023.
calendar year these days.
What do you reckon he made for Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines?
Oh my god!
36 million.
Pretty close, $29.5 million.
It's a
Which
bad
one was
movie
that?
too.
Was that
It's
the
a
one
bad
where he came back from the future and saved John Connor?
Terminator 3. It's got the kid,
I was being facetious.
John Stahl, or whatever Stahl. Nick Stahl. Nick Stahl's in it. It's bad. Rise of the Machines
Which
is bad.
the Aussie actor's in the next one, isn't he?
Sam Worthington's in Salvation.
Oh,
with
and
Christian Bale.
then the other Aussie actor's in the next one, isn't he?
Yeah,
Who had a bit of a moment. What's his name? I can
he's
picture.
still got a moment going.
Is he? Because he was in the Die Hard 5.0 or Die Hard Vengeance or Die Hard something or other. What's his name? Jay.
Jason.
No. Jay?
Oh, Jai Courtney.
Jai Courtney, yeah.
Yeah, but there's also the other Aussie.
Oh,
guy, Jason.
You're thinking Baywatch.
No, I'm not thinking of Jason Simmons, you asshole.
No, I was thinking of Jai Courtney, so I don't know who you're thinking
Jai
of.
Courtney.
No, you're thinking of Andrew Clark. Andrew Clark was in one of the Terminators as well.
Is it Andrew Clark?
Yeah. Andrew Clark?
Are you sure it's
It
not
is.
Jason Clark?
And he was also in.
That's the guy that's in Everest.
Zero
He plays the guy
Zero
on the
Dark
mountain?
30.
He's
that
in.
fella.
He's in the. What's the Lakers? The Lakers one we've been watching lately. He's in that.
Winning Time.
Yeah, he's in Winning Time. Is that who you're thinking of?
Andrew Clark.
He
Yeah,
play-
him.
Yeah.
I'm
Is it Andrew Clark?
pretty sure
I don't think
it's
it's
not
Andrew
Andrew
Clark.
Clark.
It's
I'm
something.
100%
Is it Peter
sure.
Russell Clark?
Who?
Peter
Who?
Russell
Who?
Clark.
See you later. Oh, that was bad.
Right. So I don't know who's who. Anyway,
who
what are we talking about? What movie is
Jason,
it?
it's Jason Clark.
That's what I
Who
said.
was that guy
Jason
in a
Clark.
movie that we once watched?
He was in Zero Dark 30.
Yes, he
was
was
the
He
in
was
CIA
in
guy.
Zero Dark. He was the CIA guy.
Jason
Exactly,
Clark.
Yeah.
It's Jason Clark.
Zero Dark 30 is an excellent movie.
Is it double A?
Yeah, I've probably seen that more than
No,
Oh, yeah, more Predator. All right, we're stopping. We're going to do Zero Dark 30.
all right,
Big
keep
week
going.
on the
All right, here
land.
we
Yeah, oh, no. All right. We'll
Keep
keep
going,
going this one.
All right, well, Carl Weathers, another big star, but just come out. He was, look, I didn't know this, but he was actually a football star.
NFL player.
He played for San Diego State and then with the Oakland Raiders. Also played with the BC Lions in the CFL, the Canadian Football League, for a couple of years.
Carl Weathers?
Yeah, I mean, we went and saw a couple of CFL
We
games.
did.
We were in Canada, remember?
We've
We went to
actually
Canada.
been on the field of
have.
the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
We have.
What about the CFL's the only fucking sporting body on earth that has two teams called the Roughriders?
There's a lot of rough riding that goes on in Canada. from what I
Fucking
saw.
hell. Oh, we've run out of names. You can be the other Roughriders.
bit of a metaphor, really, isn't it?
Come on, Canada, be better. Shout out to the ladies that Gow made love to.
It's not right. It's not
If there's any
right.
paternity suits out there, you just send it to
Are there any-
MySpace.
are there any
Dan
kids-
on the land at MySpace.
It'd be interesting to know if there are any kids in Canada
that
in
fucking
BC.
wash their left leg before their right leg and eat their fucking entire dinner before they touch their hot chips or fries.
But I'm concerned about some kids that might be 20-ish
with baby
with
teeth.
baby teeth.
Baby teeth.
I was about to say that. So yeah, his big break, as we all know, came as Apollo Creed in Rocky in '76.
Great
Do you know
movie.
that Ken Norton was originally signed to play that part, but it eventually went to Carl Weathers.
Ken Norton.
Ken Norton was the actual boxer that Ali had fought. Like, he was a well-known boxer. I think Ali fought him a couple of times.
He's so
took him the
good as
distance.
Apollo. Apollo Creed is a great character.
His mum will call him Casca Clay. I'm going to call him Clay.
But yeah, look, he was in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, military police, small role in
Right,
'77.
yeah, okay.
But look, Force 10 from Navarone,
Yep.
Rocky 2, obviously the Rocky, all the Rocky franchises.
Isn't he brilliant in that? Like,
He's brilliant in Rocky.
absolutely role he was
Awesome.
meant to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's amazing. Throwing the tennis ball, Rocky 4, to the dogs. He's watching the TV in the pool. He's a super cool.
Absolutely.
Him and Sly had a big falling out, didn't they, for a long time? I believe. Yeah,
Okay.
I believe they did. And they've reconciled fairly recently, but I think things went south.
I saw him. We were doing a pre-Oscars party. I don't know. I was in LA for something. I can't remember what it was.
Oh,
but
this is good.
I remember, and they did that. They were taking the piss out of Arnie. They did that thing where you do the bro handshake and flex your biceps, and they were like cacking at Arnie, like what a fuckwit, and doing that and flexing. And yeah, Carl Weathers has still got huge biceps.
Massive.
How fit is he though? Like in this movie, he is seriously ripped.
When he finally gets his when they're making the traps and he gets his shirt off, yeah. There's some funny bumps on that. Bit like Jeffrey J. Bumfiler back in 94?
Yeah.
Funny bumps.
Yeah, probably 94, 98. Sort of went downhill around the millennium.
But yeah, I got a couple of little tidbits about them later.
Yeah, good.
Because there's Jesse the Body Ventura as well. But look, he was in, obviously, Predator, Action Jackson around that time. He was in Tour of Duty, the TV show. That was my favourite TV
I
show
love
for
Tour
a
of
while.
Duty.
Great show.
He was in 9 or 10
Duty.
episodes.
The TV show.
Great
Do you
I
remember
see
my memory?
a red door and I want to paint it black.
I
remember that was the theme
vaguely
song?
remember, yeah.
Had Michael Wimmer in? Oh no, that was
Brian Wimmer.
China Beach.
That was
That
China
was
Beach,
China
right.
Beach. Yeah.
Oh, no, you're thinking about Jeff Lynne from Electric Light Orchestra. It's a living thing.
How did we get there?
I know.
What a terrible
Stop.
thing.
Stop.
But yeah, Happy Gilmore, Chubbs Peterson.
Oh,
Great
yes.
role.
What a
I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm the
That-
pro here.
I'm the pro here.
out of all the movies that you mentioned there before, that's the one that really gets me, Charles Peterson.
Yeah. That's great.
Adam
Great.
Sandler
great
has,
character.
look,
Very funny.
he's given us a lot of pleasure, a lot of absolute dog turds over the years, but just recently, seen Hustle?
Great.
Awesome
Excellent
movie.
movie.
Sandler is this paradox. He can just make very impressive movies. It was the one he made before that with the
Uncut Gems.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hard watch.
Hey, I remember fucking going off at all my Academy brethren about why, because I obviously voted for him because I know what's good, but he should have been at least a real good shot at that Academy
Now,
Award.
did
He was awesome.
He was great.
Did he write those? Like, did he create those ones, or did he
No,
act
that was
in
the
them?
Safdie
brothers.
brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Just
'Cause
actor. No, he's not. And he's like for Paul Thomas Anderson. He's acted in Punch Drunk Love as well, and he was
Mate,
exceptional in that.
he's a great actor. He really
Yeah.
is.
I just found the ones that he sort of acted in that other people wrote for him.
He's great.
He's brilliant.
And then
But
he's
the ones
like he
that
takes the piss with his eyes,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. The ones that he sort of goes. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
sort of-
exactly that.
Yeah.
But he gets all his boys onto his films. He's got his mates, and they obviously make a heap of freight. They charge Netflix or someone for a piece of dog turd, and then he goes, "I don't give a
He
fuck.
did a
I got
massive
heaps of
6 movie
freight."
deal with Netflix.
Yeah,
Massive 6
I wouldn't have seen one of them.
Yeah. No. I've tried to watch a couple there.
Yeah, awful. But do kids like them? Like,
Luke's watched a couple of them, but I didn't mind. I didn't mind Blended, which is not great, but I laughed in it a bit.
is it Kate Beckinsale?
No, that's Drew Barrymore again. It's when they're a blended family.
Oh,
When
I
they
mean,
go to
obviously,
Africa.
yeah,
It's
right.
it's paint by numbers.
It's like a one-shot pony. Like it's literally a.
But some of them are bad, man.
Yeah.
Some of them are bad. Yeah.
Cool. So we're still on Carl Weathers.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, sorry, I might have let us down that little right there. Sorry.
Anyway, did a bit of jobbing after that, but in The Mandalorian in the last couple of years, he's
great.
been in. He's back on screen. But yeah, quick little one on him. He played college football, as we said, at San Diego State with one of his teammates was Fred Dreyer. Do you remember Hunter?
He's Hunter, yeah.
Yeah, he was Hunter.
Yeah.
But yeah, they played it, and he was also Fred Hunter was slated to be.
Fred Dreyer.
What did I say, Hunter?
Fred Hunter.
Fred Dreyer.
Who do you reckon are the best NFL players that have turned to acting? So Howie Long, obviously, we had a moment when he was.
He did have a moment. He did
But,
Firestorm.
Yeah, did Firestorm. I don't know if you could call The Rock an NFL star. He played for Miami back in the day.
Yeah.
MU, and then he went to CFL for a while.
There's not been heaps.
Who's that show you like, the really funny one that's with it's got the
Brooklyn
Webster.
Nine-Nine.
Yeah,
with,
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews. He was
Crews.
a-
Close to
yeah.
Dick Butkus.
Dick Butkus, yeah.
There was another guy. He passed away recently. He's an
he
older guy.
played with
Yeah,
Webster.
yeah.
He was in
Webster.
Webster for
Yeah.
Webster.
Oh no, that was George.
George Papard?
George Santaropoulos or something like that. But
Mr.
no, there's-
No, he's Mr. Papadopoulos in the show.
Oh, he was popping off in the show, was he? I can't remember. There was another guy.
Georgie Porgy?
Archie? No, I can't. I'll have to look up his name. But yeah, he was a. You'd know him. You'd
George
know him
from
once you-
Seinfeld?
Or
Anyway.
just fucking lippy on the land. I'll give you the
Yeah,
tip.
he's very lippy.
I feel comfortable here on the ranch.
I can tell.
Anyway, look, just on Carl, he was inducted into the International Moustache Hall of Fame in 2016 for the film and television category.
Love it.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a good mo for a long time. For a long time.
Same time you're inducted into the Fuckwit Hall of Fame, Morgs.
It's a fairly
He's been in that for 30 years.
He's one of the founding members.
He's a founding father.
All right, Kevin Peter Hall, who in this movie played the Predator.
Wow. You go straight to Kevin.
Is he related to Michael C. Hall?
Yes,
From
I'm going
Dexter.
to go with yes.
Yeah. Probably
No, he
not.
wasn't. He had
What
six
about
brothers.
Hall and Oates?
He could have been. Anthony Michael Hall, did you say?
He was a man-eater.
Watch out, boys. She'll chew you up.
No, he had six brothers, all over 6'5", but I don't know if any of them were.
Wow,
whatever
imagine the
names you just
food
said.
bill for that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But yeah, he was also in Harry and the Hendersons. He was Harry in that movie. And he was in the TV series as well.
So
in
was
87.
Harry and the Hendersons, were they ripping off Chewbacca? Like, where did that...
No, it was Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, right,
Sasquatch.
okay.
It was Bigfoot.
Copy that.
He was actually also the helicopter pilot at the end of the movie. And there was, look, the reason for that is there was another very famous actor who was slated to play the part of the Predator who ended up
On the cutting room floor.
on the cutting room floor. Well, got taken out for varying reasons, but we'll talk about that a bit later in Listen to This.
Yep.
Again, another one we talked about, Billy Duke in this movie.
Love Billy Duke.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
He's
And
awesome in
he's-
everything he does, though.
Me and Jeffrey J. Bumfalo were laughing about when he goes off on a tear after Jesse Ventura is killed and he's singing a song. And That's, I don't know. It might be. He might turn up in Quickfire for that little scene. But yeah, Sally. That's a bit strange. But overall, I think Billy Duke is a fucking boss.
The good one is the scene where Carl Weathers slips on the hill.
Oh, yeah.
And he comes back and he goes, "You're ghosting us, motherfucker. I'm gonna
You do that again.
I bleed you.
bleed you
I
slow,
bleed you.
Real quiet.
real quiet."
Real quiet. I bleed you.
But the best scenes when he's dry shaving.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
about that?
Yeah.
Just with his sweaters.
And he just
I'm like, that gives me, like, that makes my anus pucker every time I see him
What else
shave.
could you use as lube in the jungle?
I don't know, there'd probably be a vine or something, wouldn't there?
What, a bit of aloe vera bush?
What about your tangents today?
Well, it just got me thinking about when we were back in Canada.
Because you're on the land.
Yeah, because
So
I'm
you-
on the line. It got me thinking. But no, a good friend of the podcast, M Head. Remember when we were living in Canada at the ski resort, and he'd get up in the morning and he'd have a look out the window, and it'd be an absolute bluebird, beautiful day, and there'd be one cloud at like 3 o'clock. He'd look out and go, "Oh no, I don't think I'm going to snowboard today." And so we'd all head out and cut absolutely fucking sick, and M Head would stay in the house for the day and watch a few probably Ultimate Fighter videos that we'd hired down from
7 for 7 days. We used to get.
yeah, we
7 for 7 days videos.
But I didn't notice. But after a few weeks, I saw that my aloe vera tube that I'd bought from home to use in the summertime when I got sunburnt was mysteriously going down in the wintertime. So yeah, I think aloe vera is not a bad lube.
Let's just say that
What about hand cream, Morgs, or is that just good for toothpaste?
So I had a few. So shout out to Gage Road again, the sponsor. But I had a few the other night, and my fucking wife, I couldn't find the toothpaste when I went to bed, and I'd had a few. And I pulled out what I thought was the toothpaste and squeezed it onto the toothbrush. And I looked at the consistency of the toothpaste, and I've got to say it felt a little more trickly than you normally get the glugginess of the toothpaste. But I'd had a few, and I went, oh, okay, whatever. Managed to brush my teeth with it, and didn't notice a difference in taste or anything. Got up the next morning, and anyway, I look at the bathroom sink, and where my toothpaste should be is a little tube of moisturiser that I'd managed to brush my teeth with. So yeah, I shout out to Amhead for all the wanking.
But what was really difficult was when you decided to pleasure yourself and use the toothpaste for lube.
Billy Duke got his start in American Gigolo in 1980, but in quite a few movies: Predator, Action Jackson, Bird on a Wire, Payback, and in X-Men: The Last Stand in 2006. But what you may not know about Bill Duke is that he's actually a director.
Yeah,
and he's
massive
directed
TV director.
a lot of shows. So he's done Falcon Crest, did a few episodes in the early 80s, Dallas, Cagney and Lacey, Hill Street Blues, Knots Landing. And he also actually directed Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit, in 93 with Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah.
Whoopi.
So he's done quite a lot of TV, but
Yeah,
he did a couple of
massive
movies,
director,
which is interesting. I did not know that.
Well, there you go, Gal.
Good start.
What else you got?
We've got Jesse the Body Ventura. Limited acting career, coming off a very heavy run as a pro wrestler in the 70s and 80s. But, yeah. In Predator in 87, the biggest movie. Running Man as Captain Freedom in 88.
Yeah.
Cracking movie. And in one of your favourites, Whitey, No Holds Barred. He's
Yeah.
one of the commentators in 89.
Absolutely.
Before he went into politics and became the mayor of Brooklyn Park in Minnesota, and then was the governor of Minnesota in the early 2000s.
Couple of governors in this movie.
There are. We've got Sonny Landham,
Sundog.
good old Sundog. Yeah. So look, he was actually started in the Warriors. He was a policeman in the Warriors in '79. We've got to get to the Warriors on this cast.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's in 48 Hours, which is the big role as Billy Bear, and played quite a few roles where he was Billy or the Bear after that. But he was Billy in Predator, Action Jackson, and Maximum Force were the major ones there. But he's actually a former porn star from the 1970s.
Big Billy.
Big Billy Bear.
Wow. Is he Billy the Bear?
In
his
48
porn-
Hours, he was Billy Bear. No, that was his character.
Was he a bear?
You've definitely got a penchant for the bear.
Penchant.
Yeah. I like 48 Hours.
Great movie, 48
Yeah.
Hours. Yep. Nolte and Eddie Murphy.
What was the other one Nolte did around the same time where he was...
Extreme Prejudice.
oh, well picked.
I watched that
yeah.
about
Yeah.
6 months ago. It is
So
really-
good.
It's what's his name? Walter Hill.
Yeah.
It's Walter Hill directed, and it is who directed the Warriors. It is so freaking good. I
Yeah.
haven't forgotten how good it is.
Same.
Plays a Texas Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is. I still remember looking. It was one of those movies you see in the video shop, and it had an amazing cover, like a hand drawn poster.
Yep.
And it was him with a big hat and the badge. And I always, oh shit, I want to watch that, but it was rated R. You know, and I was like, can't see it. And then when I eventually saw it, it was worth the wait.
Yeah. Great.
And I only just remembered it about a year ago. I was like, fuck, what was that movie next? So anyway, I found it, watched it, and was like, perfect. It's so good.
Such a good movie. Yeah,
great.
totally agree. Nick Nolte, and his nuts would have been probably normal size back
They
in
hadn't,
80.
He hadn't had the tuck yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Hadn't
hadn't
had the
started
tuck.
to sag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if Wardy's had the nut tuck yet.
He swims fast.
He
so
does
I'm
swim
tipping that
fast.
he's got the wing kill working.
Shout out to you, Wardy. You got the big hammer to go with those things, so it's all right.
Okay. There's been a lot of segues today. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's. I don't think we need to go through any more. There's
I
a
think
limited
that-
cast.
well,
We've
what
talked about Shayna.
Well, we talked about Shayna.
talked about
Black.
Shayna.
But
Black.
Shayna Black was part of film school for FWITS
Yes.
last week.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just one amusing bit. You might have this for listening to this, but Shayna Black actually asked him to do some rewrites on the script during the shooting of this, and he goes, "No, fuck no, I'm an actor.
No, you
I'm not
paid-
shit.
you paid-
I'm not doing shit."
Pay me to act.
Yeah, you pay me to act. So I think maybe that's why he got killed off first. Yeah,
Maybe that's why they made him wear those shits glasses.
It was a bit of a nothing role, so it was definitely a bit of the producer throwing him
Well,
a
he's
bone.
got the. He's
No,
got the,
John McTiernan wanted him to wear those glasses. He wanted him to look as nerdy as possible.
Well, he succeeded.
That's what he did.
He
But
certainly did.
you know, he came up with those two jokes that he
Gee, you
made.
got a big pussy.
Yeah, that
Gee,
one.
you got a big pussy.
He came up with those two.
Dad jokes.
Yeah, they are dad jokes, big time. First one, Billy didn't get.
No.
Second one, he did.
Yeah.
All right, now
Yeah.
we sort of move into 87 now, Gow. We did a lot on that last week.
Yeah, we don't need to talk a lot about it. Look, the gross of this movie was the domestic box office is 59.7, internationally did 38.5 million for a total of $98.2 million. Did 12 million on its opening weekend on a budget of 18 million.
Crazy.
So made about 5.5 times its money back. So
It's a win.
it's going to be a success. In movies in 87, which we talked about at length last week, this came in at number 8. Fatal Attraction, Whitey's favourite solo movie, in at number 1, $320 million. But I don't think we need to go through. We talked about a lot of
We
these
did
movies
87
last week.
We definitely don't need to go back over the songs because we can't top what we did last
No.
week with
I'm
Gow.
not going to top it, but funny you talk about the best year for movies as 1986, 1987, 1988, 1999,
All of them.
1990,
All of them.
every year. But no, actually it's been suggested that 1987 was perhaps the best year ever for Australian music. So,
Oh.
yeah, I got a couple of tracks here.
Is this
so-
another opportunity for you to sing suddenly again? Luke?
Well, I don't know, but let's look at some of the albums from 1987. So I think if we've gone over, we won't do particular tracks, but we break into song if you feel you need to. But 1987, so Whispering Jack was still blowing minds from 1986, but it's
Swaying in the breeze, seeing this it makes my troubles cease.
so
Sun is hiding, leaving a pink scar. It's drifting right across the sky.
excellent.
That's all we've seen so far.
But all you do is look into my eyes for that special touch of paradise. Just that special touch of paradise. You hold my hand.
Jeffrey J. Bumfiler with the
love it,
amazing vocals. That was a softball, and you boys hit it out of the park, so well done. So, just quickly, James Rain's solo career, Left Behind, Australian Crawl. So, Fall of Rome, Hammerhead, Rip It Up. They'll pop
House
out
of
in
Cards.
1987. House of Cards.
House of Cards.
Noiseworks, 1987 release. What about
Take Me Back.
Me Back to You?
Been a long time.
No, now.
Jenny Morris, Body and Soul.
Oh, my buddy and soul.
We're doing pretty good here. So Jimmy Barnes,
No, we're not.
Freight Train Heart happened to come out in 97. What about Driving Wheels?
Ah.
Yeah. No one wants to take that on. I thought Jeffrey J might take that one on, but anyway. Hoodoo Gurus Blow You Cool came out. What's My Scene? Obviously the key track from there. Midnight Oil.
Beds are burning.
Yeah. Diesel and Dust came out,
Diesel
but
and Dust.
How
Cracker.
Can We Dance? Yeah, Beds Are Burning came out. In Excess Kick, so Never Tear Us Apart, 1987. Hunters and Collectors, Do You See What I See, Gal? From a seminal surf movie that we spent a lot of hours whiling away on, so Mad Wax.
Mate, I wasn't Do You See What I See in every surf movie
It
at that time. It
was,
seemed
yeah.
like it was in every single one. It's definitely in Mad Wax.
I spy your humble home. I see the teardrops fly.
In a blinding flash.
I see the years go by. Memories twisted around somebody's finger. Remind me now so that I still remember. Do you see what I see?
Do you see what I see?
It's a bit high. It's out of my range, that one. Thanks for taking that, Gal. Paul Kelly, To Her Door, with the track To
great
Her
song,
Door.
great song.
They got married early.
Never
Yeah,
had
oh,
that.
okay, look, it goes on and on, but Australian music did have a moment in '87, so yeah, just had to. That was basically an
cool.
excuse to sing a few songs. Thank you.
Okay, question time.
Wait, I just want to go back. Jeffrey J, you might just have to dial in a song every week. That was
that's pretty good.
that was special. Yeah,
No,
well played.
Pleasure.
Well played. Good,
It-
solid voice.
Very solid.
Just-
Loved it.
Maybe just a John Farnham song every week.
Well, I've got a wider range, just more than just John Farnham. But yeah,
I beg to differ.
au contraire.
yeah, you've got me there.
Okay, question time. Is this Arnie's best movie?
Ooh. You think I would have thought that you may have asked this and
Yeah.
put some thought into this, but
Gee, is it? Wow. Just trying to go
I
back.
think, okay, so
Just trying to go back through what he's done.
Let me throw three out at you. So you got Predator. You got T2.
yeah.
You know what? They're his top two. It's a fight. I think it's a
Well,
fight.
I like the original Terminator. I really like those movies.
But you could throw the Terminator in there. But I think that
The Running Man.
yeah, but that's second tier. That's second tier Arnie. I think it's a great movie, but I think the top tier Arnie is T2, Predator. I don't know about True Lies. It's probably
Commando.
probably
No.
too.
True Lies is underrated. That's a
True
good
Lies.
flick.
I enjoy True Lies.
Was
It's a
that
great
was a
movie.
Shano Black joint?
No, that's James Cameron.
James Cameron, beg your
Yeah.
pardon.
Yeah, that's only James Cameron.
What about Ivan Dunko?
Cocaine 'em.
So I think it's out of T2 and Predator.
Yeah, it's a toss up. For me, it's a flip of the coin on those
Yeah,
two. What do you think, Jeffrey J?
Oh, look, I look, to be honest with you, that T2 for me was Arnie's best.
What would Sonny Payne say?
It's a good question for this. It's a shame he's not
He
here.
loves both of
He
those
loves both of
films.
them.
Yeah.
They're like the children's that he does love.
I was looking at Arnie at this time, and obviously his pronunciation of some words are fucking funny because he doesn't come from America, and as Dutch, he definitely murders the English language pretty proudly. But he doesn't. The close-ups, everything. Like at the end, we were talking about that earlier. Like at the end when he's just absolutely rat shit. Like there's nothing. I think he's a bit underrated. I don't think he's Meryl Streep, but I think he does pretty good.
Hang on, can I throw something out there? Pumping Iron, I know we spoke about it earlier, and it was obviously probably the thing that really did sort of put him into the mainstream. But do you reckon like that's him? And I think he's made a career out of being, if not himself, something aligned to it, something very akin
Absolutely.
to it. So,
He's got a very small range.
yes,
But there's a charisma there that
yes.
obviously is
Serious charisma.
he exploits.
Serious charisma.
yeah, and obviously those Terminator movies, that obviously robotic and and such, and the whole "I'll be back" thing,
But he pulls it off.
But
Like
that-
it doesn't
absolutely.
feel
He's
stupid.
made for those roles.
Yeah.
He's got that big, intimidating presence on screen, and the screen loves him.
But he's made a career out of being Arnie.
Yeah.
Yes,
And,
for sure.
and that is him where he first comes into that prominence. And
But he's got some comic chops as well. Like
Yeah.
I think Kindergarten
Yeah.
Cop
Kindergarten Cop is
is
good.
funny as hell.
and it probably tracks from what we were talking about before about how he sort of that the comedy or the way that he was trying to psych out Lou Ferrigno in
For
that
sure.
movie.
Yeah.
And so that's actually a really funny scene.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you have ascended to superstardom when people see movies just because Arnie's in it.
Oh,
Right?
without,
So
that's it.
it's like you've got Tom Cruise movies, you've got
Yep.
Arnie movies, and there's not many of them where it's like I'm just going to see the movie because he's in it.
But that's what that was saying before that run in mid '80s to
Yeah,
early
for sure.
'90s. Exactly that.
Exactly.
All of those
He
movies,
just became a superstar.
you're going to watch
Yeah, you're
because of
going to watch
Arnie.
Arnie, yeah.
You're going to watch Arnie's movie.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Now I've cut the questions to two in this one. This is the last question. I think it's probably the biggest question. Do you think he pounded the girl because he has a penchant for Mexicans?
I reckon he took down the cleaner on set.
Yeah.
He's
Now-
a bad man.
So what? El Lapido Carrillo. I
What
reckon
was it? Could you do that pronunciation again, please?
she's from Barcelona.
Barcelona. Shout out to Condi.
El Lapido Carrillo. I'm fairly certain
I'm not sure you've nailed it yet. Can you have one more go?
El Lapido Carrillo. Right?
You sounded like Benicio del Toro in
In the usual
The Usual Suspect.
I flip you.
What a far.
I flip you for
What
real.
a far.
I flip you for real. I think he pounded her for sure. He's got a penchant for them, even though she's like 30 years younger than what he tends to go for.
He was married to a Kennedy essentially,
Yeah, he
and
was.
yes, fathered
dabbled.
a unit of a son to the cleaner. So
And it's quite, and there was no denying, there was no DNA
No.
test required because it is essentially just Arnold.
I agree, it is my son.
Okay. All right. Into the categories. So this is where we talk about the stuff that we like about the movie, the stuff we think is bad about the movie, and the stuff we think is downright ugly. We're going to start with you, Dan, because it's your home game.
Yes,
Start
so
with good.
thank you.
What do you got?
Up on the land, for good, I had Carl Weathers and Arnold himself. On the rewatch, I really enjoyed both of those guys. I thought they played off each other well. I thought Carl Weathers did exceptionally well with his scenes with Arnie. I thought that the interplay was really good, and they just felt like they were true to their character, and really was more impressed by their acting than I think I have been in previous viewings. So yeah, the Apollo Creed and Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ich trage weiße Speedos, were my favourites for sure.
What about you, Bumfiler? Anything for good there?
Not really.
That's saying in.
That's the best part of the 2023 with a bang.
Solid.
No,
not really.
No, look, look that again, and not to piggyback off you, Morgs, but
But you will.
you know that scene where it, where they meet and they handshake and they have that flex, and it's about the it's the biceps and it's the
You're pushing too many pencils, Dillon.
yeah. It's that real like it is a flex, but it is a flex, And I think it's probably all about those movies at that time. That's why you went and saw an Arnie movie at that time.
Yep.
The storyline, everything, sort of came along with it. But for me, right on the point there.
We're going to talk about that a little more and listen to this because there's a little more to some of those stars of the movie,
Right.
and their interaction.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what do you got for good?
For good, I've got Arnie, obviously, as Morg said, but just his one-liners. I love it. He makes up those one-liners like "stick around," and when he gets in the next room, he goes "knock knock," but then he shoots the guy out the window and then changes guns and shoots the other person in the room. But Arnie's hitting his stride here, and also I like Bill Duke. We already talked about Bill, so I won't go too much into that. But just that character, that mean, menacing character.
Yeah. Again, for me, it's slick. There's no bullshit. It's really lean. You don't need to take anything out of the movie. You don't need anything into it.
There's not a lot of backstory for that. Like, if they give the audience some credit and like, okay, there's an alien. You guys have worked it out.
Yeah.
The characters in the film don't know he's an alien. They don't know who the fuck that is. But we showed you the spaceship, so that's all you guys need to know.
And we don't know the motivation of the alien, and we don't need to. We just know he's just hunting them. And you can tell when he rips the spine. Oh, well, he's taking trophies.
Yeah.
And that's essentially it. Like.
But even the start, like he comes in that scene we just talked about with Carl Weathers, and they have that, and that's over in 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of preamble, right? We're introducing Carl Weathers into it as this character, and then bang, they're into the jungle.
Yeah,
so we're into it within 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
We're into the jungle,
Exactly.
ready to go.
It's great. It's great. Look, I think for me, Arnie's an out-and-out star. I love the setup. I love the fake mission, but then it all goes pear-shaped. I think that's great, and I love that Dillon becomes the bad guy, but there's also the bigger bad guy. I love that dynamic within the film. For sure. The score's epic. We spoke about that this morning as we were watching. The score is epic.
Unreal.
Like it's nothing without the music.
Probably haven't noticed that previously, but
Yeah.
it's a huge part of the film.
Yeah, and I think Morgs and I were talking about it before I fell asleep on the lounge the other night
Snoring.
about how good John McTiernan is and how well lit the movie is. Because, again, it's one of those films where it could come across as being a bit bad or second-rate or B-grade if it's fully lit, but it's so well lit by fire, by
Dark,
the moon. It's a lot of stuff like contrasting in the blacks. It's so well lit, and it must be so hard in that, with those night scenes to light
Working
them
out the elements
appropriately.
is an absolute bitch. Like, it would have been very difficult, and it looked amazing. And you think about this was also shot on film, so they aren't getting to look at what they're shooting through the camera. They're putting a lot of faith into the DOP and his team.
Yeah.
Looking after all the gaffers and the light and everything on there. And they're not seeing it to the dailies when they watch them the next day.
Yeah.
So, I think I agree. I think a lot of scenes were shot very well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's enough. What about bad? We'll start with you, Gao. What do you got for bad?
My bad is just, we did talk about this earlier, is the scene where he comes out of the water and the predator's chasing him and he flops half his face into the mud and then he sees the predator come up. So he pulls himself up into the tree branch or into the roots of the tree, and then all of a sudden his whole body is fully covered. But with his eyes open, he still can't be seen, and his lips are out there. But I just find that a little bit hard. It went straight from, I know they had to make that scene as to how he gets away, but it didn't quite work for me. That's one little bit where it's not, the continuity is out there.
Yeah.
Do
I
you
don't think it's great.
That was less plausible than the 2 100-meter waterfall drops that he successfully made prior to that scene, or which do you think was more
there's that as
far-fetched?
well.
The stunt double seriously injured himself doing
Yeah,
that.
blew his knee out.
They were.
Blew his knee out doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, that's the one thing I'd say. Like, you notice that he puts half his face in the mud, and then the next thing he's crawling out of the tree, and his whole body is perfectly covered in clay.
Absolutely. What about you, Dan? Anything for bad?
Yeah, look, the only thing I said, the John McTiernan was amazing, and I think overall this film he shot really beautifully. But what the fuck was going on with the scene where they all take out the terrorists? We don't even know what they are. They take out the locals' camp where they pick up Anna. That was so different. It was like it was shot for a different movie. It looked like something out of American Ninja. And a shout out to Michael Dudikoff, because I'm not pissing on American Ninja Gal. I know that you would take umbrage with that.
Just tread carefully here, Morgs.
It looked like a completely different film, replete with the trampoline jumps and the overuse of actors on fire. It felt like something out of Not Quite Hollywood, which I haven't mentioned for a few pods. So if you're looking for a documentary, fellow F-wits, go out and check out Not Quite Hollywood. But yeah, that just felt like a different movie. And I think that it's still funny, but it just doesn't seem to have the same tone as the rest of the film. So I thought that could be handled a bit differently.
Because it kind of went from a slow, tense build, didn't it? That's where they're going.
To that high camp
And
B
then
grade
also
movie
high
shit.
camp, yeah.
It becomes a bit of a caricature of itself.
For
really.
sure.
Now, Greg, should I ask you what you got for bad, or should we just skip past you and just?
Oh, look, one of the things that I was going to mention was the was probably just the it's a bit of that you've got to just sort of put aside the reality for a moment there, and the use of some of the firearms. I mean, using a minigun, just from shooting from the hip.
So a minigun would normally be strapped onto some sort of
Helicopter.
vehicle,
Like
I
a
think.
helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah, shooting 6,000 rounds per minute.
Would a human be able to take the recoil of one of those things, or is that completely implausible?
Look, I'm going to say yeah.
Yeah. Well, it took a Terminator to hold one, 7 years
That's
later.
it. They did turn up. And the M60, where you see, obviously, Rambo hanging onto one of those things. And I always wondered, could a human actually hang onto that thing without it?
Rambo could. Definitely.
But I guess at the same time, it also goes to, again, those movies, right?
It's a movie.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. Look, I've got the non-lethal atomic blast
Yes.
at the end, and because it's one hell of a blast, and he's got to be what? He's got to be what? 90 meters away. From
He's
him when
running.
it
He's
blows
running
up.
over things in the jungle trying to get away. He couldn't have got
And-
that far.
And there's a mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
And then he gets down there, and he's like just standing in the pose, like, yeah, I'm badass.
I know Hiroshima was leveled
Yes,
for this thing. but
trillions
I'm
of
sweet.
people died.
Yeah.
Every other atomic blast, but not one person dies apart from the Predator. But that's the only thing I had. Other than that, I love it. Ugly. Anything for ugly?
No, I've got nothing for ugly.
Nothing for me.
Yeah, we're not going to ask you, Greg.
Thanks.
Okay. Listen to this. Gal, want to start with listen to this? What do you got?
Yeah, look, I've got a few things here to leave you, but look, we touched on before about the macho guys on set, but there was a few pranks being played. And when Jesse Ventura got on set, the wardrobe department told him that his guns were an inch larger than Arnie's, which he took great delight in. But Arnie had already teed up the wardrobe department to tell him that. So then they had a comp, and they put a bet on it. And Arnie obviously won the bet because he teed them all up. So, but there was also, but Jesse Ventura was also on set, and then he got there and he's just doing a workout because they all like to work out. So he threw a bottle of water all over himself, and he wanted Arnie to think that he'd been working out for all that time, right? But and that started pushing them both. So everyone's getting up at 4 a.m. to get in the gym because they all wanted to be the first in, last out. And then Carl Weathers would go working out, but then he wanted everyone to think that his body, he got that naturally. So he wouldn't work out with them, pretended he'd just get around and pretend he wasn't working out. Then he'd secretly go in the middle of the night and get his iron going.
Crazy.
So this is the alpha blokes on set.
Yeah. Well, it was a host of them, wasn't there? Okay, what about Dutch's line, his get to the chopper line, is his favourite, is Arnie's favourite line of all his movies.
Yeah, to the chopper. It feels like it's in all of his movies, but really it was just this.
And it's funny that you asked about what you use for lube in the jungle. Because the
Strange segue, but I'm looking forward to
because
this.
the Predator's blood, which was that green colour.
Yeah.
They made that on set by mixing the colour out of glow sticks with KY jelly.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. So that's what you use for lube in the jungle.
Righto.
Glow stick KY.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah. Got anything, Morgs?
I've got heaps, but I don't want to blow anyone's thunder, so I'll let you go, Gal.
Well, we're going to talk about the Predator.
I don't have heaps.
Got it. We're going to talk about that Kevin Peter Hall was the Predator, but he wasn't the original choice. It was actually Jean-Claude Van Damme. Now, he was supposed to star in this, and
Well,
they wanted...
he did start. They
he
started
did start
filming with him.
And they wanted someone that was agile and could, as Morgs put, do the splits as the Predator. But obviously that suit was like 200 pounds apparently, and even Kevin Peter Hall, who's 7'2", had issues wearing that. But then anyway, Van Damme was officially removed from the film for being too short at 5'9", and the other guys were all 6'2" to
But I
to
think
6'5".
I think also that he ended up struggling. Like he was absolutely exhausted.
Well, he was.
shooting because the suit was so heavy and the temperatures and stuff.
Yes.
So they ended up just punting him as well.
Well, the thing was, the suit was 200 pounds,
Yeah.
and they all had shot, and you couldn't see out of the suit. So Arnie's also said that it was hard to film some of those scenes in because the guy in the suit couldn't see him.
Yeah.
He couldn't see out of the suit.
But they also did a complete redesign of the creature.
Yes.
So the original one looks like a pretty big cockroach.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, it was a different form.
And the actual predator was red.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the only way. It was the most contrast against the jungle, so that they could then go in post and fix.
Well, that's so. I did have a listen to this. I forgot all about it. But when they did film in Mexico, it was fucking hot, and there wasn't any green foliage. So it's interesting when you watch the NF. It's like, check out the amount of time they have those green fronds everywhere. They were essentially placing them in every shot, so that it looked like it was green. It actually looks like the bush up the back of Cromer Heights was where they were shooting.
The famous scene where they shoot at the jungle. And when Blaine gets killed and Coke chases him or Billy Duke.
Oh, and they shoot the shit out of
the jungle. That was all fake stuff.
Yeah.
So they just brought that in to
Well,
shoot.
there are points in the movie where you can see them in the pot plants. Yeah. If you look close enough, you can see the pot plants
how
that they're
good.
in. But you know, like you don't see it unless you're looking for that kind of thing. Yeah. But the other one with JCVD was that he he got the dirts because his face wasn't going to be seen on screen, and he wanted to be known that it was him in the suit. So they ended up punting him.
Was he a kickboxer then? Like, was that around that time?
87.
Yes,
He'd
it
already
was,
done.
yeah.
He'd already
He'd
done. No, you know what?
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport came out in 88.
No, it was one of the
Bloodsport
earlier
came out in
ones.
88.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, he'd done a couple sort of Z grades, but he hadn't done the A grade Bloodsport yet. Here's a question for you: how much screen time do you think the Predator has?
I'm going to let this go because I do know.
Can't be much.
How much time is
10 minutes.
I was going to say 5.
8.
8.
Right in the middle, boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot. I've got one I found here, guys. None of these names are mentioned in the film, but it's the names of all the stars, their actual names in the film. The original script was Major Alan Dutch Schaefer. Just not Dutch. Staff Sergeant George Dillon. Sergeant Mac Elliott. Sergeant Blaine Cooper. Sergeant Billy Soul. Corporate Poncho Ramirez and Corporal Rick Hawkins. So that was all their proper names, but they aren't even referenced in the credits at the end.
Yeah, right at the very end. I reckon that's enough. I know Morgs has got nothing to add here.
Ah, fuck all.
Yeah. All right. Now it's time for Morgs's quickfire.
Quickfire. All right. Do I need to pause for my new sound effects?
Just rip in, mate.
Choo choo. Pew pew pew.
Holy fuck.
Quickfire. Jeffrey J. Bumfiler. If you haven't been a part of this is when we just go through a few topics and we like to riff really quickly. So the first topic is That's Not a Knife, and it is for a scene or scenes from this movie that have passed over into popular culture. I reckon there's a few from here. Yeah. What do you think, boys?
Yep.
G-Man?
Stick around.
Stick around.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the
chopper.
Yeah, I think, look, Get to the Chopper is probably the most prominent. You are one ugly motherfucker. And if it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yeah,
I think
that's the other
top
one.
three. I reckon that they would pop up. Jeffrey J, anything that you remember from the last time you viewed it several years ago? No, all good. The next one is for the biggest dick character, and we call it Hey Derek, Sprakency Dick. Anyone that popped to mind? It was a bit of a knob end, bit of a bell end.
Oh, Dillon.
Carl Weathers.
But he's necessary, and he has a bit of an arc where he comes back at the end, and he kind of takes himself away to certain death. When he gets his arm shot off, that's a pretty decent scene there.
Yeah.
So I don't reckon there's anyone really that pops out.
Not apart from that. Not apart from that.
Jennifer Jason Leigh in Backdraft for an actor that thought they were in a different movie.
Shane Black.
Shane Black was an interesting one. So I think that when he refused to do any screen rewrites and they killed him off quickly, it was a bit of a nothing character. So, yeah, and the jokes that he put in there were probably off tone for the movie as well.
For sure.
So, yeah, that's a good choice. Ripley running for a particularly poor show of athletic prowess a la Sigourney Weaver in Aliens. Anyone that really sucked
No
balls?
one was really, really bad, but I think maybe just because I want to say the name again, Elpidio Calio.
It's probably your best pronunciation yet. So
So when she slams the stick into the branch into the face and then does the bolt. She's struggling. She should have got away.
And what about her throwing the leaves at Carl Weathers?
That's not great.
Yeah.
But what about Carl Weathers? Just his response to the leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could have been part of the, not worthy of being, in a different movie, maybe.
Totally. No, I'm with that. Robot sentries for a scene that you wanted to see more of. So you want to learn a bit more about the movie, a la the brilliant robot sentries in Aliens.
I would have loved to have seen the original team get axed.
The
Jim Harper.
Yeah,
I know this
that would have
man.
been interesting.
But again, it takes away the reveal of shit. Those guys have been they're skinned alive.
Yeah.
It takes that away.
But that is part of that because they're trying to figure out who that is and the second group coming in behind them and all of that.
Yeah, so I know what's not there, but it would have been good to see what happened.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Finally, Whitey's Brad Pitt for an actor that you might want to have a special lie down with from the film. Anyone that John? I mean, Nana's pretty cute. I mean, all the boys are pretty buff.
I'm going against what I've been going for.
Yeah.
I'm going male.
Okay.
Carl Weathers is a good sort.
He's a good-looking man. He's a good-looking man.
They're all in their prime. Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yeah, but no, Carl Weathers is a good sort.
Yeah.
So I thought Sonny Langdon was quite buff as well, which I didn't realise from his character. So they're all
he's
fit.
not. He's more. I think he's country strong.
Right.
Sonny Landon. He's not that
He's a big,
real.
thick
He's
unit.
not Arnie.
No.
He's not Arnie Carl Weathers ripped. He's
like
that
us
country
on the
strong.
land, just working around the farm strong. Yeah,
Farm
I
strong,
get it. He
farm
does.
strong.
He reminds me of me. I get it. That's it. Quick fire. Choo-choo.
My God. All right. Anyone get a 1 degree of Kurt Russell?
Oh.
I didn't.
No,
I didn't look very hard
I'm
this
trying
week.
to think. No, I don't have one.
Okay.
No.
Perfect. Notable quotables. Yeah. What do you got?
Well, we've gone through all the major ones. As I said, I do like the Bill Duke one when Carl Weathers slips down the hill.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. Obviously, get to the child play. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
I like when Poncho and Blaine are together, and Morgs and I were chuckling at this the other night. You hit, man, you're bleeding. I ain't got time to bleed. Oh, okay.
You got time to duck.
Boom. You got time to duck? I thought that was good. Yeah, there's lots of good. The
other one I liked was Poncho and Dutch. He's like, Major, you better take a look at this. Did you find Hawkins?
I don't know.
I can't tell.
I can't tell. That's right. That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of good ones. Knock, knock. It's heaps of them.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Knock.
My men are not expendable, and I don't do this kind of work. He's really good. All right, that's enough of that.
Just one thing we didn't talk about, and I don't know where it's going to pop up, so I want to bring it up here. But what about when they all get out of the chopper at the start and the clobber they're all dressed in?
Yeah, good catch.
Really good. So I don't know if they got to pick their outfits like the dudes in Lost Boys who get to go out and shop for their shit. But when Billy Duke's running a business suit and
That's right.
Yeah.
Jesse Ventura's running an MTV shirt, and it was an interesting get up. Arnie looks like he's in that new gang, the Ishays. With the polo shirts and looking real tough on the Gold Coast.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's definitely an eclectic.
I reckon they got to pick what they wanted to wear.
quite possibly, yeah.
Because Blaine, like Jesse the Body's got some badass, like a stonewash
That's
freaking
it,
pants on.
yeah.
It's horrendous.
But Billy Duke, I don't know where he's come from. Like what they're running the full bizzo suit.
He's come off the commando set.
It was
Straight
peak.
off the commando.
It was peak 1987.
Yeah.
It was
But this
fantastic.
is trying to show the differences in the team, right? Like they're all coming from
for sure,
backgrounds,
for sure.
right? So he's coming in with his suit, which doesn't suit his character, I guess. As
Well,
we
you
know
know,
it, but
Bumfiler in '87, Bumfiler would turn up to Griffith Park, dressed in his best number ones. He'd have his white jeans on and a stonewash shirt, denim shirt. You know, some.
Mate, they weren't white jeans. They're probably more like stonewash jeans. But I mean,
bit of acid wash.
probably the vest was overdoing it, I'd say. And
4 buttons. There's 1 button too many for a vest.
correct.
In '87, did we wear oversized shirts or were those chambres? Was that those big chambray
You had
ones?
some bad clothes in '87, Gail.
Yeah, I did. Well, I've still got them.
Yeah.
87.
Maybe no,
Only
sorry,
87.
maybe 91. Yeah. That's more 91. The chambray shirt.
Chambres were big, weren't they?
They were big.
They're horrible. Horrible. All right. The second most famous segment of the podcast. Film school for F-wits. Take it away.
Yes, fellow F-wits, very, very stoked to have you up on the land with us at the ranch this week. And This week, I thought I would take a look at what genre. So, do you guys, what genre? First day with a new mouth on the land, I need another beer. What genre would you call Predator? What do you guys think what genre does it land in?
I think it's ultimately action, when you say.
What do you think, Jeffrey J?
Action.
Action?
Yeah, leans towards action.
I agree, but I think it's got its own special sub-genre, which I'm going to call action horror. Because it does pick up a lot of horror tropes. Like certainly there's a lot more gore than you would generally see in a purely action flick. But there's also The Last Man Standing, which is probably the most famous horror trope after the the cool girl at the end. But it definitely a lot of elements of it that you could think, oh, maybe there's some horror. So there is a subgenre that is called action horror movies. So Film School for F-Wits this week is my personal top 5 action horror movies that you probably haven't seen. So there's a few that would spring to mind that are reasonably obvious, and a lot of them have Arnie or Sigourney Weaver or some other films from the time that probably lead the subgenre. But I just want to go through a few of mine that you may not have seen. So the first one is from 2015, and it's a film called The Green Room. So have you guys seen that?
I certainly have seen that.
So I don't know what you think, Whitey, but that was a tense movie, really good. So it's basically about a struggling punk band that book a gig at a neo-Nazi clubhouse and go in there and take the piss out of the neo-Nazis essentially and play some. They played Nazi punks fuck off as their first track, but stupidly all the stupid Nazi guys in the room decide they actually enjoy that song. But long story short, they witness a murder that they shouldn't see and get peeled off one by one by this marauding gang of Nazis. So it's I definitely put it in that because there's definitely some horror tropes in the film. But if it's one you haven't seen, definitely worth a look. And
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that you just asked Whitey if you'd seen it, so you're just making the broad assumption that
No,
Jeffrey and I haven't seen
well,
it.
because I put a lot of effort into this segment, I actually have one that I'll throw to you next. But if you want to riff on this is fine. So
Yeah, but no, Gow,
I haven't seen
he's
it.
actually right. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Not seen it.
Well, Patrick Stewart, he plays like the head neo-Nazi.
That's it.
Yeah.
Really against cast.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Anton, what's his name?
Anton Yelchin.
Not Anton Sugar.
Anton
Anton Yelchin
Sugar.
is in it. But it's
He's dead.
Really
No,
interesting.
he's dead. Yeah, you know how he died? So he died that car rolled down the driveway and slammed into his
It was a
brick
Jeep
letterbox.
Grand Cherokee as
Yeah.
well, yes. No, and they have a bit of a fault when you don't know that they're in park. So
Yeah. So it
Eek.
squeezed him.
squished. Yeah, that's
squished.
awful. So
Ouch.
R.I.P. Elton Boris Yelchin. The next one, which I'm hoping you have seen, which you may or may have seen, is a 2011 jam called Attack the Block. Which actually stars that dude out of Star Wars.
Yeah, John Boyega.
Yeah, John Boyega.
Baba Yaga.
John Boyega.
Baba Yaga.
It's
Pokemon.
set on a housing estate in the UK, and it's a fucking fantastic
It's a great
film.
movie.
So, but again, a lot of action, and it picks up quite
About an
noticeable.
alien invasion, yeah?
That's it. Yeah. So really dips into standard action and horror genres, and obviously with a tinge of sci-fi a la Predator. So if you haven't seen that one, guys, go and check it out. My F-Wit friends, Gow. Did you want to riff on that
Yeah,
one at all?
no, I think Jodie Whittaker is excellent.
Well done.
Excellent in this.
Do you know who
in this role.
Jodie Whittaker is?
Yeah, she's been in she's in Adult Life Skills, she's in Journeyman, she's been in...
She's the latest Doctor Who.
Yeah, most famous as the first ever female Doctor Who. Jeffrey J. Bumfowler, were you on ABC on a 6 p.m. on a weeknight watching Doctor Who, like one of those nang-nangs?
I was actually thinking that on the way up here. I, for some reason, I heard the
Wow!
I was actually a big Doctor Who fan when I was a kid. Yeah.
It throws you back to a time. So Tom, the one with the
Baker.
choppers, Tom Baker, yeah, with that, he would have been your doctor.
He was my
Yeah,
favourite.
he was
I think
my
it would have
doctor.
been.
He was my favourite. He was the curly-haired one, wasn't he?
I
He was,
actually,
yeah,
I
he
actually
was.
went back and started the new Doctor Who,
Right.
which started with Christopher Eccleston and then went into David Tennant,
Yep.
Matt Smith.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed it.
It's very well written. It's been going for 50 years.
It's written by the guy that wrote Sherlock,
Yeah.
Moffat,
Yep.
Stephen Moffat.
Yep.
It's excellent. It's really, really good.
It's worth. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think there's enough time left of my life that I'm going to revisit Doctor Who, the new
Well, it's
Doctor
the new
Who.
Doctor
but
Who. It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Good one. But it's amazing those, like you can be thrown back to a moment in time. Like I remember Sunday night viewing was be like the comedy company and shit like that. It just reminds me, oh, fuck, I've got to go to school tomorrow, shit. So you'd have this, I'm enjoying Con the Fruiterer, but thinking, fuck.
Yeah. Sunday night
Just
comedy
throws-
company.
That's it. Throws you back to a time. But anyway, you will be able to buy some merch, fellow F-wits, very soon. So we've actually come up with a Chroma High Survivor T-shirt. So I would encourage you to check out the website and flick
Coming
a bit
very soon in
of, flick a bit of
2023.
freight our way. Now, I know it may seem exorbitantly expensive, but it's actually just covering our costs.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's made out of it's Egyptian cotton.
It's made out of dog ballsack hair.
Continue.
The next one is another one which I'm guessing Gow hasn't seen. I'm thinking Jeffrey J probably hasn't seen, but I think Whitey may have seen. But the original Battle Royale.
Oh, is that Tatsuya Fujiwara?
It is.
Oh, mate. Cracker of a movie.
Looking at your notes.
This is what happened. Normally I hide up here on the land, but you can actually see my notes here. So
I'm not looking at your notes.
You know what? Without Battle Royale, there's no Hunger Games. There's no nothing.
it's exactly. So
It's
this is a groundbreaking film,
Incredible.
and basically Japanese society's grown worried and fearful of the nation's unruly youth. So they set up a program where it's instituted, and random classes are abducted and dropped on a weaponized island.
It's 1 year 9 class.
That's it. It's super young.
Yeah, it's
super
1 year
young.
9 class a year.
That's Frank the Tank. Thank you, Frank. Everyone's been quiet right up until now, so it's been pretty good. But yes, it is that. But it's worth a watch, and definitely horror elements in there, but a lot of action. So just a really interesting movie.
Yep,
So
great.
one worth a look. Moving right along, this one is one that still scares the shit out of me when I see the cover. So from 2005, The Descent. Now I'm thinking you would have done a bit of action of this back in the video store.
I think Descent is probably the best horror film of the 2000s.
Yeah, and you're probably right. It probably skews more horror than action horror. But I think if you haven't seen it, grow some fucking nurries and check it out. But it's just every fear that you have. I personally have a massive claustrophobia issue that I worked out when I was about 40 meters underground doing caving for the first time, which scared the shit and still scars me to this day. But
Not a good time to figure that out.
Not a great time at all to figure it out. Shout out to leisure management at University of Technology, Sydney. But would encourage you to check out The Descent. So I don't want to give it away too much because you should go and check it out. But just think about if you're underground, what is the worst shit you would want to run into? And that's essentially what these guys do. So have you seen that one, Jeffrey J?
No, I haven't.
No, worth a look. It's probably been overlooked by a lot of people, but absolutely exhilarating.
It's excellent.
Action horror. G-Man, what's your thoughts
cracker.
on The
Good
Descent?
movie.
Yeah.
Alexa Reed, awesome in that movie.
Having said that, just what you were talking about, the
I'm fucking never doing a pod with you guys again because Gow cheats.
I'm not cheating, mate. I've got my own notes here.
Sorry, you were talking, Jeffrey J?
I was just going to say that new cave diving one about the
yeah,
the
13
rescue of the,
Lives.
Yeah.
that looks terrifying.
Yeah.
Well,
that-
I've watched the actual real life documentary, which is spine chilling.
Yeah.
What they did was unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
Totally. A pretty horrific setup to be that far underground and running into scary things. So, Neil Marshall bit. Check it out, The Descent.
It's excellent.
Number one, I cheated a bit. I said that you wouldn't know about this, but my favourite action horror of all time is obviously Aliens. So check that out as well. Jeffrey J, what's your thoughts on the whole Alien franchise?
Well, it surprised you, Morgs, that I haven't seen it.
It would surprise me a lot. So we might have to write that tonight.
Which is
So-
interesting because I have spoken about him previously.
Other pods.
Yes, on other pods. No, well, I have mentioned him earlier. You know, the influence my brother was. He is a massive Aliens fan.
Yeah.
I remember him telling me about the first movie, well, Alien, and obviously the whole concept around that. And I was probably just a little bit too young to probably be going to that.
Yeah,
but I just never,
79.
yeah,
79, yeah.
and I just never, I just never caught up with it.
Fair enough.
He actually bought me the box set one Christmas, and I still haven't watched it. Sorry, bro. But
He's just learning about that now. Re-gift it.
yep.
Excellent. That's it. Film School for F-Wits
Well
this
done,
week.
Dan.
Thank
Good
you,
work,
everyone.
Dan.
But yeah, check them all out. Strangles, I know that you're over the Dutch. You'll check out some of those films. So of all of the ones I suggested though, mate, I reckon, they're all pretty good. But check out Battle Royale and Green Room from those top
Absolutely.
That was a good list, Morgs. I'm quite surprised. I've seen most of those. So that's,
I threw in
Very good
aliens
list.
just for you to get involved. So
All right, and we're going to keep with the Dan on the land theme here, and now we are moving into Stan Bush's kick-ass credit song, and Dan is on the block. Have you got one?
yes, I did have a lot of one. Definitely adhered to the 2-minute rule for this one. You guys would have seen my creative process as we were driving down to pick up Jeffrey J. Bumfiler, and it dawned on me that I had the song for this week. So what I did find fascinating about this film and about many films, a lot of Vietnam films it pops up in, but also a lot of Sly films. But the punji stick, the use of the punji stick. So do we call it punji or punji stick? Do you think?
I like punji.
So
I think it's
I'm pungy, but
I think it's punji.
punji. All
There
right,
you
I'm
go.
going to go with Jeffrey J there. So we're gonna say punji, and that will help because that's how I will enunciate during my song. But I'm a lot of films from that era. When you run out of bullets and you run out of sharp, sticky things, no fucking problem. You just go into the jungle and you make yourself a punji stick, and you're able to save the day. So I find it quite fascinating, and that was definitely the basis for my song this week in the theme of Stan Bush Kick-Ass Credit, which is called It's Time for the Punji Stick.
Is it punji or punji? You've said it's going to be punji.
I thought he said punji.
No,
He said punji.
I said punji. Jeffrey said punji.
I said punji.
yeah.
Which takes me to the song title this week. It's time for the punji stick.
Thank you.
All
Take it
right,
away.
Here we go. If you ramble in the jungle and things are looking grim, the sheriff and his cronies are on your tail closing in. If a film's set in Vietnam and the VC are hiding out, a grunt will surely fall in a pit and the spike's hanging out. And of course, if you're Arnie being Arnold in the bush, leading Shane O'Black and his crack knit team off grid, all hush. When the weapons all run out and there's nothing left to shoot, it's time. It's time. It's time for the punji. Grab a knife. Get a stick, carve it fine, sharpen up that shit, stick it in a hole and cover it with leaves. Let the currents fall right in and listen to their screams. It's time. It's time. It's time for the punji. Time for the punji stick.
Solid effort, folks.
Push.
What is a hush?
Push. Well, there were a few rhymes in there that were dependent on which way I went with punji or punji.
Oh my God, it's time for the whoosh.
Hush, hush.
Well done, Dan. Very, very good. Very, very good.
Well
all
done.
right,
Well done, Borg.
Well done, Daniel. Enjoyed that very much.
That was a cracker.
All right, we move into star of the show, and we're going to start with our guest today, Jeffrey J. Who's your MVP of Predator?
Arnie.
Easy.
It's hard to go past.
Dan.
Yeah, same. Arnie for me.
Yeah, we'll just keep going on that. It's Arnie. It's Arnie's vehicle. We've said that.
Yeah, it's a full house.
And he does really well in this.
yeah, absolutely. It's a full house. It's Arnie's movie. Without him, it doesn't work. All right, we're going to shoot into the rank bank. Okay, so we've got a few to choose from. So today we've got miniguns. We've got triangulated targeting systems. We've got gratuitous bicep shots. We've got non-lethal atomic blasts. Or we've got ugly motherfuckers.
I was going to choose that if you didn't say it. I was going to suggest it.
No, mate, that's why it's last. Yeah,
I think it's got to be ugly,
yeah, it's ugly MFs. Okay, so we're going to start with our guest. And how many out of 5 ugly MFs are you going to give a Predator?
Oh, look, I think again, and we've spoken about the lack of time since I've probably seen this film.
So many
Which
excuses.
is, I know, I'm sorry, I apologise, but it is still up there with one of the great films, and clearly when we're talking about Arnie being one of his more well known and most prolific, I'm going to go 4.
Well, I like it.
Good work. Good work.
Solid pick.
What about you, G-Man? What are you giving it?
I'm going to go with Jeffrey. I'm going to go 4 UMFs.
Okay. Your MF are going to get you. What about you, Dan?
I agree with my learned colleagues here. Yeah, I really enjoyed the rewatch. I hadn't watched it for probably a few years at least, and I thought it was slick, trim. I thought there was no dead spots. It was really good. Just a really good ride. 4 out of 5 for me every day of the week. ugly mother Fs.
Very good. I am going to be the outlier here. I'm going to give Predator 4.25.
Oh.
Ugly MFs. I really enjoy this. Still one of my favourite movies. It's so easily watchable and rewatchable and rewatchable and rewatchable. I watch this at least once a year. At least.
Where's that going to put us?
Well, Gal.
Wait, sorry,
you're
one
gonna-
question before you go to rankings. What do you think Sonny Payne would have given
Oh,
it?
this is a 5 for Sonny
Yeah,
Payne.
I
This is
thought
a
he would have
definite
gone
5.
very high for it. So
This is a definite 5 for
Yeah.
Sonny Payne. So, Gal, do you want to come around here and do this, or do you want
You can do it.
you want me to do it?
Yeah, you do it.
Okay, so this week on the rank bank, with a score of 4.06 ugly MFs, it puts Predator into 15th spot.
Ooh.
Right now, it is just below The Guard at 4.17, Mad
Okay.
Max at 4.17, and The Wolf of Wall Street at 4.08, and above Step Brothers, Beverly Hills Cop, and Crocodile Dundee at 4.06.
Wow, that's tight.
I could spot
That's
on.
tight.
It's sitting right in the middle.
I'm happy with that.
It's
Yeah.
it's 15 out of 33, so it's sitting there right.
I
in the
don't
middle.
disagree with that.
I think the numbers never lie. The numbers never.
The
lie.
numbers sometimes lie.
Oh, I don't think they ever lie. All right, well done. So what are we watching? Yeah, watching anything?
I have been watching the second series of Mystery Road.
Yep. Is that getting better for you?
Yes, because I know last week I'd watched one, and Morg said to me, keep going, and yeah, sure enough, it gets really interesting really soon. So yeah, I'm glad I persevered. I'm halfway through that series, but very interesting series too.
Yep. Excellent. What about you, Dan?
No, not much. I've been watching YouTube a lot. I've been watching the shenanigans of Mason Ho and Jamie O'Brien at Waimea, where they open up the Waimea riverfront and they have a stationary wave that they surf. It's pretty scary this week, where they create a raging torrent and just about drown everyone. So, but nothing as far as series goes. Sorry, F-Wits, don't have many insights for you this week.
What about you, Bumfiler? Anything that you'd like to suggest to anyone?
Oh, look, nothing that anyone hasn't spoken about here before. Yellowstone is
Very
currently
good.
getting,
Very. Are you up to
currently
date
getting a
with
run
Yellowstone?
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
I am. But I will also throw out just an old time favourite for me, Seinfeld. Just never.
It's an
away.
easy watch.
It is an easy
Yeah.
watch. I just watched season 9. Just brilliant stuff.
Did you get into Curb Your Enthusiasm? Yeah,
did.
we talk about that a lot on here and love that
Love
dearly.
Curb.
And
So
we'll
yeah.
come in and out of that every, from time to time.
Yeah.
Just if
What's the name of his house guest character?
Leon.
Oh my god!
Smooth.
Everything
JB
JB
Smooth.
Smooth
JB
says
Smooth.
just
Brilliant.
has me crying with laughter. He's just brilliant. So
Yeah, no, he's excellent. He's excellent.
nice one.
Yeah, I don't know if I've mentioned this. I think I have already, but I watched it again with my daughter. It was Wednesday, The Addams Family.
All the kids are talking about
I'm
that.
telling you,
Yeah.
it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really
Okay.
watchable and very watchable with your kids or really any age. It's a little bit spooky, but nothing really too bad for the kids to be into. It's good fun. It's really worth a watch. The Jenna Ortega, who's the star, is great as Wednesday. It's really, really good.
All right, good tip.
Yep, get into that. All right, now that's it for this week's show and our first show of 2023. Well done, boys, and thank you very much to our preeminent guest.
Well done.
Hold on.
Jumped on a grenade. That one.
Are we talking about?
I've already chosen a movie for next week.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's been an executive
There's
decision.
been an executive decision, and that could be the movie.
Steven Seagal.
But it's not.
Kurt
I
Russell.
see what you did there.
But it's not. It could be, but it's not. No, thank you, Jeffrey J. Bonfiler, for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure having you along.
guys, absolute fun. Great stuff.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thanks,
you
Jeffrey.
guys.
Really nailed it with those tunes.
Some of the best songs we've had.
Yeah,
Mate,
that
good
was
voice.
kick ass.
I think he may be the songbird of our generation.
He
not
could
you.
be. He could be.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, let's just wait and see.
once this
let's
po-
just wait and see.
once this
I mean, who
airs-
knows what Sonny would have? Yeah, we know what Sonny would have.
5 out of 5.
Well, the thing is, now once we release this, there's going to be some rumours going around that John Farnham has unretired again.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It was solid. Pitch perfect, you would say.
Yeah, well done.
Well done.
We're not doing that movie either. Okay, so we're going to stick. I thought what would be nice is that it's holidays, families. Let's stick to some holiday and family movies moving forward in January. I think a good one to start with is something that we can maybe the mums and the dads can listen with their kids in the car with, minus the fucks. The Goonies.
I like
good
that.
choice.
I like that.
Let's go back.
I
I reckon it's 20 years since I've seen the
Yeah,
Goonies.
same. And I've been trying to get my boys to watch that for
Here we
so
go.
long, and this is the week they can watch it.
This is it.
This is a cracker of a movie.
Yeah, and I think that I've been talking about doing something that the kids can get into, and I think that the Goonies is a really good stepping stone into that family film. It's
Yeah.
a great movie.
You don't
Treasure
get
Hunt.
similar films really anymore like that. That
No, they
are
don't.
No. No, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. A great cast, a great all-star cast of guys that will go on to great things in the industry. Morgs has probably hung out with a few of them.
Yeah, definitely at some Hollywood parties. I've run into a few familiar faces, but
So he's
yeah.
remember when you traded haircut tips with Joe Pantoliano?
Joey Pants, yes,
Yeah.
fine actor himself. So was he in Goonies?
He was. He's one of the brothers. He's one of the brothers.
There you go. I
With
can't.
Robert Dovey.
Robert Dovey.
Yeah. And the really unattractive older lady from Throw Mama from the Train.
Yes.
She's got a head for movies. Yeah.
Yeah, she does. She should be on a podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, our podcast.
She'd be 178 by now. Yeah.
She would be.
Yeah.
She was 94 then.
That's
Yes.
it.
Look, it's been an absolute pleasure, gents. Thank you very much. We've enjoyed our time on the land, and it's good doing a live show in front of the crowd.
Hey,
Yeah.
you fuckwits!
And until next time, it's bye for now.
Thanks, everybody. See you all next time for the Goonies.
See ya. Too many kids around. All right. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Born to Watch. To join us on our journey into some of our favourite movies of all time, you can find us on all good podcast networks like Spotify and Apple Podcasts.